Blog show. Blog show.
Welcome to the Blog Show, your weekly sports blogging buffet. I'm Demeet, Jamie Mottram, and this is the Veggies, Dan Steinberg.
And thanks for not calling me the fruit, Jamie. That was very nice of you. Once again, we're going to take you through the choicest morsels of the past week in sports blogging. Every time we mention a sports blog or a sports blogger, we're going to give you one of these. I'm back from a one-week hiatus. I'm feeling full of angst about blogging and sports in general, so
that's what I like to hear. Welcome back, Steins. What you missed was the two biggest stories of the week: Bonds chasing Hank Aaron and the Michael Vick dogfighting indictment. So in a type of transition that only Blog Show can do, we're going to tie both stories into one. With a dog overly muscled from winning the turnover battle. Yeah. She was born with a genetic defect, twice the muscles of a normal dog. She had a 24-pack.
Double muscle. This is a dog named Wendy. It was a Whippet from Canada, and it's kind of scary. You were saying that you kind of see it in your nightmares whenever you close your eyes. I was kind of thinking, you know, what other dog breeds might create such nightmares? And I was thinking, if you were trying to think of like a huge, overly muscled, genetically mutated boxer.
Right.
Mike Tyson.
Right. More on Mike Tyson later. He has packed on a couple LBs, but you're right. The vision of that dog lingers. Every time I look at my black lab, I see this double-muscled dog. It's
scary.
It's haunting. But dogs are taking over the world, even in overseas. Tour de France via Deadspin. We saw this unfortunate bike accident. A yellow lab, it looks, walks across the street, and the bike just plows right into it.
The bike crumples, the rider falls. The dogs seem to be fine. I think some French labs were kind of hinting that maybe the dog had a little bit too much testosterone.
Good one, Steins. You get a double ding on that. But more from the tour, our friends at Deuce of Davenport, they had this video of Borat running alongside a Kazaki cyclist. And this is a dedicated fan, because not only do you have the Borat hair and mustache, but the banana hammock bathing suit as well to go along with it.
Very nice.
I mean, that movie came out 9 months ago. Did it just come out overseas?
I don't know. You're saying that it's like a dated reference?
Well, yeah. I mean, he really went all out for a movie that's kind of old.
It looks like he's kind of keeping pace with the cycles in a way that was kind of alarming to me. I think that drug doping must actually be taking effect. And
perhaps the drug doping has something to do with that full, bushy mustache that he was sporting.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of mustaches, our friends at the American Mustache Institute, not a blog, still gets a ding. They're doing the greatest all-time sporting stashes.
Yeah, and I have so many complaints with this, but let me start off with a complaint.
Really?
Yeah.
Why, what's the matter?
First of all, they only chose 12 sports mustaches, and I'm sure that the selection process must have been, torturous. But the Low HUD blog by some guy whose name I forget pointed out that Don Mattingly, some blogger, Don Mattingly, shockingly absent from this. He said this would be like kind of a list of the worst free agent signings of all time without Carl Pavano on it. And I sort of agree. Don Mattingly.
That's a good one. But Mattingly played during the stash-heavy 80s. You really got to stand out, like a Goose Gossage, Fu Manchu, or Raleigh Fingers twisting it up on the sides.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the stashes that stand out over time.
But the thing that I guess my complaint is that, sports in the 20th century and the 21st century, so many great African Americans, and there's only one African American on this list. I think some of the names that maybe were unfairly excluded. I like Joe Dumars' kind of understated mustache. I really like Jesse Barfield's mustache from my youth. I don't know.
40 home runs in 1986. So the American Mustache Institute maybe discriminating against African American mustaches.
Michael Wilbon's mustache.
Staying on the topic of hair, not so much facial hair, but hair on one's head.
Say about that.
Our friends at bugsandcranks.com, they're putting up the baseball's all-time great Afro team, and of course, it's headlined by Oscar Gamble.
Yeah, he had a great one. I like Bake McBride, a player I'm not really very familiar with. He kind of had like the Princess Leia afro sticking out the side. I
like the picture of Don Sutton from the 70s on Match Game with like kind of the curly fro.
Did you uncover that picture originally?
Originally, back in the day, I think I did. Now it's still the Nats announcer here in D.C. Still got the white afro. He's got the afro, but it's all white. You look kind of like Larry David, but with hair.
Yeah, and I think we were both happy to see Dimitri Young, the Meat Hook, the previously mentioned Meat Hook, on this list.
And deserving, because that is one of the finest afros I've ever seen.
Very nice.
And even now, Dimitri's having a career season of sorts, leading the National League in batting average after getting plucked off the scrap heap. Well, again, our friend Will Leach at Deadspin found this nugget from Alyssa Milano's Touching All the Bases blog. Apparently, the two crossed paths in San Francisco for the All-Star break, Alyssa Milano and Dimitri Young.
Right.
And this is the quote from Alyssa about the Meat Hook. He isn't built for power. He isn't built for speed. He is built for comfort and has the loveliest way about him.
Yeah, built for comfort. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but if you remember, I actually saw on the Washington Wizards blogger had a little video of Caron Butler visiting the Nationals clubhouse. And,
and wasn't pretty.
Dimitri was shirtless, and I'd say built for comfort is an apt description. And the other phrase that was interesting from Alyssa Milano's blog, did you notice when she was talking about numerous nipple slips?
No.
Yeah.
I totally missed that.
Yeah,
him or her?
I don't think either.
She's got quite a database on Mr. Skin, I understand. And also on the Dimitri Young
I don't know what that
tip,
means.
MrSkin.com, well, ding for him. Anyways, kids, don't listen to Jamie. Anyways, on the Dimitri Young tip, we're big fans of blog-driven fashion here, sports T-shirts like these ones provided by motheringhut.com. But one, I don't know, the origin's unknown on this Dimitri Young T-shirt. I mentioned he's leading the National League in batting, but he's on the trading block here at the lowly Nationals, and there's been a movement to save Demit. Go vegetarian, and you might see me wearing that T-shirt next week.
Yeah, I got a random email alerting me to this T-shirt on Cafe Press. Looks good.
Random email? Any shout-outs for the random emailer?
I can't remember his name.
He reads the DC Sports blog. We'll give that a ding. And this is one of the best videos I saw all week, staying in the baseball blogosphere. We saw this one on Red Sox Monster. It was a fan video at a Braves game, and I guess there was a rain delay, and the videographer had a fine vantage point on what occurred next. If you want to catch that full video, go to masslive.com.
And as I think you probably know, that's how I'm kind of down on sports right now. I like the extracurricular activities that go on.
You just don't like sports.
Right. But what I'm saying is if I go to a baseball game from now on, you know what I'm going to say? Make it rain.
Make it rain?
Yeah, so
you like to say that in the press box?
So I can see the streakers and all that.
I said make it rain in an AOL conference room meeting once, and no one got the reference at all.
Interesting.
Bunch of hipsters over there in Dulles at the AOL campus. Anyways, moving right along, but still in the baseball blogosphere, our buddies at Home Run Derby, homerderby.com, are doing the current greatest mascots. It's like a mascot
just
bracket.
Baseball mascots.
Yeah, baseball mascot competition, which is right in our wheelhouse.
Completely.
Steins, who are the favorites?
Well, there's I guess 5 one-seeds. It's kind of a strange bracket. You don't think of there being 5 sides of a bracket, like a pentagonal bracket. But
no, unheard of.
I guess the names of the bracket were the feather bracket, the furry bracket, the primate bracket, the mammal bracket, and the critter bracket. Some of the one-seeds were Mr. Matt, the Milwaukee Sausages, the Philly Fanatic, of course, in the furry bracket. Did you ever read that one story in Esquire about people who like, I think they're called furries, and they kind of have a sexual attraction to mascot?
Really?
I think with the amount of mascots that we've talked on this show, we both probably fit in that furry category.
Esquire, that's an excellent piece right there.
Yeah, it was great.
Good work. All right, moving on to our final roundup of topics. There was a big movement in the blogosphere this week. Paparazzi-like posts, paparazzi-like stories that popped up. We alluded to this earlier. Mike Tyson, he's put on a few LBs. We saw a picture of him on withleather.com.
Yeah,
he's looking a little bit like Robert De Niro in Raging Bull. He's put on some around the torso.
Eating too many ears.
The TMZ.com one-liner was, he's getting into shape, pear-shaped.
Yeah.
Steins, you're the king of one-liners. Can you top the TMZ one-liner?
I think you already kind of talked over my one-liners. Should I use it again?
Yeah, it's better the second time.
Yeah, I thought it looked like he's been eating a lot of ears. The ears go straight to the belly.
Double ding, lots of fat in the lobes.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the next paparazzi item from Kickette, our soccer wags blog, Kickette. Yeah. It's David Beckham helping Posh Spice out of a car, and you see that he's a veteran with the paparazzi because he is blocking the crotch shot.
And I wasn't convinced that he was actually doing that to block the paparazzi. Soccer players.
What do you think he was doing?
There's the classic soccer player move, the free kick, one of those. I thought maybe he was just transferring.
What is he trying to protect down there?
I don't know. Move on.
All right, moving on to the next item from our friend at sportsbybrooks.com. I think he's just taking pot shots at Matt Leinart here, but Matt Leinart's on a red carpet somewhere, maybe the Sundance Film Festival. This picture's even like months old, but he's wearing like the puffy jacket and the skull cap.
Right.
And SBB thinks that he just does not have the fashion sense to pull it off.
I think SBB actually got this from another blog that I'd never heard of called Popo in My Crib? Is that something like that?
Popo in My Crib.
Something like that, which said that the jacket looked like it was made out of garbage bags and cotton balls.
Well, that was a Brady Quinn-esque move by Leinart. I feel like he's been kind of much maligned by the blogosphere, Quinn, for his fashion sense.
Yeah.
But also last week we were showing Brady Quinn at a concert on stage with Poison.
Yeah.
Well, here's fellow NFL quarterback Tony Romo at a concert. I think the report was on Deadspin.com that he was singing along to Living on a Prayer.
Right. GNR.
GNR, Living in a Prayer?
No.
JBJ, John Bon Jovi. How are you going to mix that up?
I was confused. I was still thinking about Journey.
You're a Cold War kid. How do you not know that?
Yeah, it's been a long day for me. Anyhow, I was thinking about Journey, of course, because
I never stop.
Because earlier, I think the song "Don't Stop Believing" is going to be linked in a lot of people's minds forever with The Sopranos in the final episode.
Right.
But for me, it's always going to be a Tony Romo thing because a few months ago, Tony Romo apparently got on stage with Metal School. Is that what they were called?
Yeah, Metal School and Mr. Belding from Saved by the Bell.
And they had just an unbelievable moment of musical ecstasy.
Here's evidence of the video jam. And And that clip was via the bloggers at WBRS Sports Blog, and you can get it by Googling Tony Romo and Mr. Belden.
Yeah, and one more kind of random photography story, and I don't know if this really counts as a paparazzi moment, but Every Day Should Be Saturday, the fine college football blogs, found some pictures of Darren McFadden, the Arkansas running back and Heisman hopeful, who's kind of showing off his ride, which turns out to be a pimped out, I think, Ford Crown Victoria is what the consensus was, which is kind of a strange ride for a Heisman hopeful.
And with the DMAC plates, that's a great way to kick off the 2007 Heisman campaign.
And the hog magnet on the back, very nice.
But that is how we end the week in blogs. For blog show number 16, before we go, we got Dan's artisanal cheese of the week.
Yeah, and it's not really an artisanal cheese, and it's not really a good cheese at all, but for some reason I just felt like talking about Colby Jack. And Colby Jack always kind of intrigued me for its weird mottled orange and white color. I like to melt it on some cheese toast myself, and it doesn't taste like anything really. But
I love that you just want to talk about Colby Jack. You're the only dude that I know that just wants to talk about Colby Jack.
Yeah, I got some Colby at home actually. Really, cheese snobs would look down their nose at me. And I'd like to point out that, first of all, did I already talk about the? and yeah, I'd like to talk about mustaches more next week. I really like mustaches, and I do still feel a little bit embarrassed that I screwed up that Living on a Prayer thing, because I covered George Mason basketball team when they went to the Final Four and they used Living on a Prayer, the pep band, and I'm well acquainted with the song. I'm just, like I said, it's a rough week.
At least Bon Jovi sucks. It's okay. Don't lose any sleep over it. And come back to hear Steins talk about mustaches next week, and to hear us talk about whatever you want us to talk about. Email us at blogshow@comcastsportsnet.com. Send us all your links and tips, and we'll bring it up on blog show number 17. But before you go, we're going to play the YouTube clip of the week via 100% injury rate in honor of the British Open that's happening as we televise. This is what happens when a bunch of buddies get drunk and are bored and want to play a little golf.
He's going to hit a driver out of one of I guess it's one of his friends' mouth. Shut up, dude. You really did it, video? Dude, you really did it.
Hey, yo. The Blog Show wardrobe is provided by Mother and Hut Design.
Blog Show.